Alright, so maybe you've heard, or maybe you haven't, but Akora. I swear I start every video like that these days. It's just such an easy go-to. Anyway, I'm at it again with my antics and talking about another super successful, super popular TCG that was once again funded through a Kickstarter campaign. And that is none other than Akora. For those of you that don't already know, Akora is another new, very promising TCG hailing from the UK, with already mass amounts of excitement surrounding it with the amazing success of the Kickstarter campaign. The TCG was created, written, and directed by Xion. The Kickstarter also mentions other people involved with the TCG, including co-owner and director known as Kinga, artist Takakashi Kaito, artist Shiro, and artist Cisco. But, as usual, before we take a dive into the creator of the TCG, or creators, let's take a look at the TCG itself. Akora, in my humble opinion, seems to be heavily inspired by jazz? I don't think it's inspired by jazz. Off to a great start. What I was trying to say is it seems to be heavily inspired by Japanese TCG elements, including the art, naming choices, and just the overall style in general. And once again, of course this is just my opinion, but I truly think Akora really stands out. From the fluorescent type borders on the front, the unique manga fantasy styled art, down to the naming of the cards themselves. And once again, just as the D-Spirits Kickstarter campaign, Akora truly blew away its original funding goal of $38,000 AUD, bringing in a whopping 372,000 AUD. Well, just over that anyway. So once again, what exactly does this mean? As I mentioned in my previous videos, honest truth, it's anyone's guess. Even if I give my honest opinions, at best it's all just anecdotal. And as much as I don't really want to, it's hard not to address the elephant in the room. I rave on about MetaZoo, but I truly believe it paved the way for high quality Kickstarter TCGs to actually get the notice that they deserve. But hey, I'm not a guru, so I'm not gonna get too deep into that. I'll leave it at that. Akora seems to take the best elements from TCGs that have come before and makes it their own. I've heard comparisons to Yu-Gi-Oh! With the art style and card design. I've also heard people say, although the style is different, that it reminds them of early Pokemon. And you know what? I can actually see what they mean. But as I always say though, comparisons are fine, and I think it allows people to get a better grasp on something new, and it's just human nature, really. But I also truly believe Akora is extremely unique. I don't think I've ever seen a TCG quite as unique as Akora. With the way the cards are designed and the way the art just really pops in your face. Love it or hate it, the color palette and the design are truly unique. Even from a subtle glance, you'll instantly know it's Akora. Okay, so one of the most exciting things for me is actually going through the tiers and seeing what the Kickstarter offered. So let's go down the Kickstarter rabbit hole and see what you could get if you decided to back Akora. Coming in at £100 plus shipping is tier 1, and you would be granted one Spellbound Wings Kickstarter exclusive booster box and one of each of the 2 Kickstarter theme decks, or as they call them, structure decks. Structure. Why can't I say this damn word? One each of the structure decks. Tier 2 was for £260 plus shipping, which would grant you 3 Spellbound Wings Kickstarter exclusive booster boxes and one each of the 2 structure decks. Tier 3 was for £420 plus shipping, and that granted you 6 Spellbound Wings Kickstarter exclusive booster boxes. Tier 4 was for £480 plus shipping, and that granted you 6 Spellbound Wings Kickstarter exclusive boxes and 3 each of the Kickstarter exclusive structure decks. That word. Tier 5 was for £720 plus shipping, and that granted you 12 Spellbound Wings Kickstarter exclusive booster boxes. Then on to the last tier, Tier 6, for £840 plus shipping, which granted you 12 Spellbound Wings Kickstarter exclusive booster boxes and 6 each of the 2 Kickstarter exclusive structure decks. Oh, wow. Akora was successfully, crazily funded, and the Kickstarter finished on the 4th of September of this year. According to my insider information, there will be an estimated 2,400 Kickstarter exclusive booster boxes printed and given out to the backers. And get this right, Once again, people are already trying to sell these Kickstarter booster boxes for ridiculous amounts online. I mean, I don't even know why I act surprised these days. These insanely exclusive products for insanely popular new TCGs are always going to fetch crazy amounts. Once again, as of making this video, there isn't any sold listings, but you watch, as soon as I publish this video, some Akora product will sell for stupid amounts. Oh wait, there already was a Akora product that sold for stupid amounts. But before I talk about that, let's rewind a little bit. Before Akora released its official Kickstarter campaign, there was somewhat of a pre-Kickstarter campaign, also on Kickstarter. This campaign ended on the 11th of June of this year, with 75 backers raising a total of around 14,600 Australian dollars, which had all sorts of rewards. I won't go too deep with the rewards, however many of the rewards included prototype cards, as they call them, basically sample cards. So I actually had to update this section because as of making this script, a card given out to the pre-Kickstarter backers called Sleeping Dragon have now started selling for crazy amounts on eBay. It's insane. Anyway, as of making this video, Akora Kickstarter product is still set to be given out to all the backers in December of this year. And first edition Akora product is set to go live for pre-order in January 2022. And once again, I'm not going to touch upon gameplay as I'm not quite versed in that area. However, there's some gameplay example videos on YouTube if you want to go check it out. One more thing before we move on to the next section. I've mentioned Rudy from Alpha Investments a few times in previous videos, and it seems as though Rudy and Akora are in discussions. I guess discussions in relation to Rudy carrying and selling Akora product in the future, which is super exciting. However, outside of this screenshot and Rudy spelling Akora as Akoria, which I'm guessing he mixed up Akora with the Magic the Gathering Ikoria set, which is pretty funny in itself. But outside of this screenshot, there's not too much to go off, and I haven't really chatted to the creator, Xion, about it, so I'll just leave it at that. Now, while I gather my thoughts for this next section, I'll let you bask in the glory of some more Akora cards. I just wanted to showcase the cards a little bit more, just to hit home as to how gorgeous they really are. But anyway, let's move on to the one and only, the creator of Akora, Xion. Honestly, I would love to talk about every creator and individual that is working on Akora, but this video would be far too long, so I'm so sorry to all the other creators. I'm sure you guys have and continue to make insane contributions towards Akora, and you know we love you all. So let's just jump straight into the creator and owner of Akora, Xion. Xion was actually kind enough to answer some questions that I had about who he is, how he decided to make Akora, and other things I wanted to know. So some of this is actually coming directly from him, which is kind of a new thing for my videos. According to Xion himself, and I quote, "Akora was a personal project to design trading cards for fun. Kingu was the only person who I sold them to in the beginning, and he was the one who encouraged me to develop the cards. We played the game at first just for fun against each other through video chat," unquote. I was also super curious as to how we got the idea for Akora and where it actually originated from. So once again, I quote, "I wrote a story at school. I used to take it in, and at the end of the class, I'd let the teacher take it home to read it. It would come back with notes of encouragement on it. The teacher couldn't wait for the next chapter. That story was called The Stone of Akora. It had lots of the characters that we see in the game, and writing it became an escape for me," and unquote. Before we move on some more, I just need to quickly stop and break down something a little more. I mentioned the Sleeping Dragon earlier, but that wasn't the only dragon card made for backers. There was the Sleeping Dragon, Aroused... Aroused Dragon? Whoops. What I meant to say was Rousing Dragon and Awakened Dragon. The Sleeping Dragon was solely given out on the first pre-Kickstarter to the backers, and the other two, Rousing and Awakened, will be given out for the backers of the main Kickstarter. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go back to Xion. Once again, I quote, "The first Kickstarter was a project that I did to practice running a Kickstarter and to learn how it all works. I wanted to know how to run a successful Kickstarter before jumping in with a larger one. I set the target low as at that point we didn't have many followers on Instagram. I didn't know what a stretch goal was and launched the campaign with a £1,000 target. The first Kickstarter had the prototype cards in it, and I already had an idea of how I wanted to improve the designs and what art style I wanted to move to. When that Kickstarter hit its £1,000 target, I celebrated like it was the biggest achievement ever. I couldn't believe it. Then it went higher and higher, and I learned how to add stretch goals, and the first Kickstarter ended 700% over the target. I immediately started to work with a great artist who is now the exclusive Akora artist. Me and Kingu worked day and night playing Akora on blank cards with handwritten effects on it. It was amazing. As for the dragons, I said I would put it as Stage 1 Asleep on the first Kickstarter to represent Akora's sleeping potential, and also as a bit of a joke that the TCG world is sleeping on Akora, unaware of what's to come. I planned that as we got bigger, I would slowly have the dragon rouse to show us getting noticed. And then my idea was that the awoken dragon would be when we felt we would finally be seen and people would be awoken and would know of Akora. Watching it all unfold like that was amazing. And unquote. I wanted to make sure I added this quote into the video just so you know exactly how dedicated Xion and the Akora team truly are. So again, I quote, "Every single pledge was sent out correct and on time. We wanted to do it right and we did. I even had the lady in the post office take my picture as I felt it was a huge day in our history. After all, I put so many sleeping dragons into slabs by hand cutting the labels and sealing the cases. I stayed up until the very early hours doing it. I really enjoyed it, as I knew each one would be in the hands of someone looking at it and loving the lengths I'd gone to." And unquote. As you can see from this, Xion and the team are highly dedicated to Akora and will keep grinding hard at getting Akora into as many hands as possible. I, for one, am super excited for the future and cannot wait to get my hands onto some product. And as for you, Xion, I cannot thank you enough for giving me the time of day and allowing me to quote you in my videos. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank and give praise to the whole Akora team themselves. You're all doing such a great job. And as for the viewers out there, I can't thank you enough either for making it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed it or if you have anything else to add. Otherwise, a like and subscribe would be fantastic. Anyway, that's all there is. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.